Hey everybody, it's Eddie J on Crypto for GrowMyBag.tv. I hope you're having a good one. So, there's been a lot of news overnight. People are still trying to read over the Chinese economy, which is not doing so well, which makes BRICS all the more interesting to me, right? You have a few economies that are involved in BRICS, China, Russia, whose economies are not so hot. They need BRICS. That ought to tell you something. Something else that I see that's going on. Bitcoin faces resistance at $60,000, and we'll go over this when we go over the numbers. But at $60,000, it looks like right now. It looks like we might actually cross the 200-day moving average, which I think would then act as support for Bitcoin's prices. So I think we're going to hit 60, and I think it'll be fine. Now, with regard to the economy, there are a lot of economists that are saying, a 50 basis point cut could actually hurt instead of help. And the reason why is because most of the market might take that as a panic instead of the modest rate cut of 25 basis points, which would be seen as a good thing. So I was discussing this last night during the live, which you guys should actually tune into. It's every weeknight at 8 p.m. We have a live during the week, Monday through Thursday, and Fridays turns into Friday flips. Just think you guys should tune in. We talk about a lot of different stuff, get deep into crypto and economy, all that good stuff. Anywho, looking at how the economy is, I'm thinking, yeah, 25 basis points is the right cut to make. Most economists are actually thinking 25 basis points is the right cut to make. You want to know who's begging for 50 basis points? All the people that can afford to maneuver money if there's a 50 basis point move. That's who. So 25 basis points takes us from, I think for me, takes us from flat to a little bit up in terms of trajectory, right? Then you have to also count, factor in the fact that it's going to be one in a long string of rate cuts. So I don't understand what the problem is. There is no problem, right? There is no real case. You have to stretch some numbers and do some projections with the current figures that we have to get to a 50 basis point cut. Now, I'm not going to talk about Elizabeth Warren and her cockamamie 75 basis point plea to Fed Chair Powell. I think she should sit down and take many a seat. Just wow. Just go in a corner somewhere. 75 basis points. You can't even truly make a case for 50. You can stretch a case for 50, but you can't truly make a case for 50. Whereas you can make a full blown case for 25. Just saying. I'm thinking Elizabeth Warren is a little bit off right here. Just a wee bit. I mean, she's the only person I heard of that's talking about 75 basis points. That ought to tell you something. So that's one thing. The consensus, when you hear that the odds are that we're going to get a 50 basis point cut, those aren't economists. So I don't pay attention to those odds. Don't do that. I would absolutely tell my kids, don't do that. Pay attention to what the economists are saying. The economists are saying, yes, inflation is slowing. That's great. It's decreasing. That's awesome. It has not cooled enough to warrant a 50 basis point cut. Yeah, I think I'll listen to the experts before I listen to a bunch of rich people talk about how they need a 50 basis point cut. I think that would send the market into a panic. These are the same people that were calling for a rate cut, in August. Yeah, that's a panic move. I'm glad Fed Chair Powell did not panic, because that would just be ridiculous. Something else that I saw, Bitcoin spot ETFs have risen. They've risen $436 million last week. Those were the inflows for Bitcoin spot ETFs. Now, here's what's funny. Ethereum spot ETFs are still seeing outflows. And I don't think anybody should be amazed. Why is that? I mean, let's stop and think about this. Bitcoin is a scarcity. There's a finite number. You're not going to be able to mine any more. You're not going to be able to mine any less, right? Ethereum, I could just mint some more, not a problem. So it's not going to act the same. You invest in Bitcoin for different reasons. or at least I invest in Bitcoin for different reasons. Bitcoin is a value thing for me. It's a leverage thing for me, right? It's a collateral thing for me. Everything else is just a long-term or short-term investment. Now, I can't wait till I actually get to use it, right? Using coins is where I really want to be. More so than using fiat, more so than using even stable coins. I really want to be able to walk into a store and pay with crypto. So if you own a store, give me a call. We'll host you on our e-commerce platform where you'd be able to accept credit cards, PayPal, as well as crypto. Rebel Reach is here for you. Anyway, what I'm thinking is that as soon as we start accepting crypto in regular life, that's it. All the gloves are off. It'll be insane. The amount of usage, the amount of adoption, and beyond that, the real thing that I really hang my hat on is the integration of the technologies. That's what's really going to drive everything. That's really what's going to drive everything. So that's what I'm looking forward to. That's really what I'm looking forward to. Right? Anywho, the SEC fines the Flyfish Club for the sales of NFTs. Why? Because they're saying their NFTs were securities. Now, I hope that Flyfish Club can tap into that new, defense fund created by Coinbase, and I just said this yesterday. It was Coinbase, OpenSea, and who was the third? Give me a moment. Was it yesterday or the day before? Oh, it was Andreessen Horowitz. So Coinbase, Andreessen Horowitz, and OpenSea, they raised a $6 million legal defense fund. I told you before that I thought that number was pretty dinky. I think it's pretty dinky. OpenSea should have been putting in a hell of a lot more. Why? They were the largest, NFT marketplace out there. $6 million just seems like a tiny little bit. I think that OpenSea, Rarible, just all of them that are out there, Magic Eden, I think they all should be putting into that defense fund. Because if it wasn't for those creators, they would never have been making that kind of money, ever. So I think they need to support the community a bit more. A bit more. $6 million for a defense fund? Are you serious? Some of these people are tiny. Most of the creators out there aren't companies. They're regular people. They're not going to be able to fight that. That's not cool. That's not cool. So $6 million, up that. Should be at least 10 times that. $750,000 just for Flyfish Club, and I've never even heard of them. So imagine the bigger you are, the more that they're going to go after you, the bigger the fine. So yeah, I think the legal defense fund should be a little bit bigger than that. MicroStrategy. Wow, they already own 1.17% of all Bitcoin, and now they're going to issue a new round of $700 million for bonds so that they can go buy more. Michael Saylor is not playing. Everybody's talking about BlackRock. Yes, BlackRock has more, but everybody's talking about BlackRock. But here is a regular company that's saying, as a part of our regular existence, this is what we're going to do. This is a part of our business strategy, not our reserves, but our focal point. He was on television last week, and somebody asked him, are you guys really still a software company? He goes, oh, yeah. We're still writing software, for, Bitcoin and stuff like that. And I sat there and I looked at his expression and I was just like, oh, he's laughing on the inside. He is not making the kind of money, in software sales than he is in Bitcoin. I mean, come on, really? By the end of the year, MicroStrategy is going to be one of the biggest companies in the world just because of their Bitcoin holdings. That's going to be insane. And who's one of the biggest holders of MicroStrategy? BlackRock. Again, pay attention to the holdings that are out there. I told you, there's actually a report that will show you and I downloaded it once. I forgot the name of it, but the report shows you who owns who. It's like a big circle jerk. They all own each other. BlackRock owns Vanguard. Vanguard owns BlackRock. As a matter of fact, Vanguard, when I last looked, Vanguard owned more BlackRock than BlackRock. Insane. But Vanguard does not have anything to do directly with crypto. Why should they? They have BlackRock. People don't think about that pin play. It's like, well, we don't have to do it because, one of our holdings is doing it big time. So toddle on. Yeah, that's a big deal. Rate cut expectations are, just through the roof. Like I said, people are thinking that it should be 50 basis points. There's no case. It should be 25. Here's something that really caught my attention. All SEC commissioners are supposed to testify before Congress, and it's all about cryptocurrency regulation. And I'm just sitting here and I'm just going, oh, that's going to be awesome. That's going to be awesome. You want to know why? Because the mother of crypto, Hester Pierce, is one of those commissioners. Wow. Do you think her testimony is going to be just blockbuster? Abso-freaking-lutely. Abso-freaking-lutely. Her testimony. I'm going to find out when she's actually going to be testifying, and I'm going to tune in because I want to hear her dead up. Dead up. I want to hear her. Why? Because she's taking a different stance on crypto, right? She's obviously more positive on crypto than anything else, but I think she's really looking at it from a, 2 feet on the floor perspective, a hell of a lot more practically than, Gary Gensler. And she goes up against Gary Gensler all the time when it comes to crypto. Like, dude, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're doing. You need to work with crypto, stop working against it. Then again, he's a puppet boy for, Elizabeth Warren, who I just told you kind of off her rocker with a 75 basis point plea. Oh, you got to raise it up 75 basis points. What are you smoking, lady? What are you smoking? That's insane. Cut that out. Cut that out. Listen to real economists. I don't know who the hell she's listening to, but that's crazy. Now, something else that's nuts. Chainlink Labs partners with Fireblocks. Why? Because they want to enhance stablecoin offerings and pair that up with real world assets and, just tying the two. That's what Chainlink does. That's going to be crazy interesting. Did you know that Chainlink CCIP also launched on ZK Sync? Chainlink's making moves and nobody's paying attention. Nobody's paying attention, and they should be. That whole Swift deal is paying off big time. Big time. You should be doing all kinds of research into Chainlink. I told you, Chainlink is one of the pieces that I call connective tissue. They're connecting a lot of different things, and you should be paying attention to it. Connective tissue tokens, connective tissue coins, that's my game. I love that stuff. Why? Because without them, you wouldn't have much. You wouldn't have much. That's why I'm like, yeah, pay attention to the connective tissue. Without connective tissue, you don't really have a body. You just have a blob. Just saying. Just saying. Economist Peter Schiff is like, oh my God, potential Fed rate cuts could actually hurt the economy. Depending on what those rate cuts are, he's not wrong. Depending on what they are, he's not necessarily wrong. But you know what we should do? I told you earlier that we should get into the numbers because of the $60,000 resistance level that Bitcoin has. So let's start with the GMB crypto tracker X Factor 25, top 25 losers. And you start off with, let's see, anybody who's here that's paying attention to. Singularity.net really shouldn't happen. That should have been transferred over. It's down 6%. GMB X Factor of 1.6x. I wouldn't be paying attention to it. Why? Because you should have switched over to FET. SEI 78, rank is 78, down 6%. GMB X Factor of 3.14. Interesting. Theta is down 5%. Now, once you hit 5%, I don't pay attention. But when I look at Theta, actually, that's Theta Fuel. I'm not even paying attention to that. Dogs is down 4%, which means it's moving flat. Everybody from here is just moving flat, right? Everybody from there is just moving flat. So I'm just kind of like, oh, interesting. Very interesting. Let's go up to the top 25 winners. Top 25 winners, and you have Phantom coming in at 11%, right? An up of 11% is big, and they have a GMB X factor of 5.1. So that's something I would pay attention to. Turbo's got a GMB X factor of 1.08, and it's up 7%. Celestia's got a GMB X factor of 5%, and right there. So you're talking about the top 25 winners, top 25 losers, and they're all within positive 5% and negative 5%. And really, look how fast you go from 5% down to 2%. So that's really the range that you're in. Look at that 2% right there. And look at that 2% right there. So your real range for the bulk of the top 250 coins that are out there is positive 2%, negative 2%. That's your whole range. That's your whole range. And you sit there and you're just kind of like, yeah, a 4% range? Market is flat. Market is absolutely flat. So, if you're going to buy, your opportunity could be right now to buy, since everything seems to be stagnant. Everything's kind of in a wait phase, because the FOMC meeting starts today and then the decision comes tomorrow at about 2:00 Eastern Standard Time. All right. So those are some numbers. Then you have, like I said, meeting starts today, right? And then tomorrow you actually get the interest rate decision. And that's what's going to be interesting. That's really what's going to be interesting. The fear and greed index is at 33. I told you yesterday when it was at 39 that we're probably going to see a dip, and there's the dip, right? You could call it. Give me a second and I'll show you. $85.91 billion in total assets under lock. Total value locked. And then you can look at the big board and you can see, well, there's opportunity. Here's where I think we're actually going to go over 60,000. I'm not worried about it. Ethereum is back above 2,300. It had been at the 2,200 range just a little while ago. Cardano is moving positively. That's nice. I don't care. To me, all of these coins are at a stance where you could buy and be happy. They really are. To me, you can buy and be happy with these numbers. However, you should be paying attention to opportunities that are available to you in other ways, right? Buy now. Look how it's doing later, right? But also, don't forget that you could be looking at certain stocks too. When that market starts going up, you could see some crypto stocks go up. So pay attention. That's what I mean by other ways. And here's what I'm talking about. Yesterday, we saw that we came down sharply, right? So it came down sharply. Let me zoom in a little bit, right? And you sit there and you look at that and you just go, oh, okay. We started coming up around here, and then what happened? Yeah, the assassination attempt. And then the volume just said, no, we're gonna push this back up. So I can easily see a trajectory right there. I can easily see this trajectory going like this, right? If that happens, then clearly you're going to have an opportunity to actually see Bitcoin go above the 200-day moving average. The yellow line, let me escape out of that. The yellow line is the 20-day moving average. The orange line is the 60-day moving average. Now, if I had my wherewithal, I'd also add the 50-day moving average, so you can see all the averages, see all the death crosses and all that good stuff, golden crosses, all that good stuff. But this is what I'm using just for day-to-day kind of review of everything. So yeah, when I look at this, I'm seeing opportunity. I'm seeing opportunity for myself, because once we start seeing that and the Fed rate cuts hit, I think it's going to go up. And I think it'll go up substantially. I think we could see it go up above that 63 mark, which is where we really, really, really need to be, right? September is always a messy month, but I think if we can see ourselves go up in September, we will skyrocket. We'll start to skyrocket in October. I really do think that. What else do we have? That's right. If you want to look at the numbers going across the board, from a just looking at the numbers, no graphs or anything like that, you can see that, yeah, we can be paying attention to certain things. Ethereum is basically at break even for the year. Break even for the year. That's crazy. But look at Bitcoin, up 37%. Where else are you going to earn 37%? Right? I mean, BNB chain. People slept on BNB chain. I don't know why you would sleep on BNB chain. I just don't understand why. It's at 70%, over 70% year to date. Just saying. So on January 1st, if you'd have bought, you'd be up 70%. Where else are you going to see that? Right? XRP is bad for the year, right? But there are these, to me, again, these are opportunities where you can find some coins. You see where I have Toncoin at 9, Cardano at 11? It's because Tron slides in there at number 10. I just don't have it in there because I'm not going to ever buy anything from Justin Sun. Just not going to happen. Don't trust the guy. Looking at Shiba Inu, I'm sitting back and I'm going, wow, people slept on Shiba Inu and it's up 22% year to date. That's going to be, I'm telling you, Shiba Inu is going to do some stuff. The SHIB team, SHIB army is going to do some stuff this year. Even Doge, I mean, look at Doge, up 11.10% on the year. Interesting. Am I buying any more Doge? Do I have a slot for Doge? No. Do I have some Doge? Yeah. But do I have a lot? No. I don't have a big bag of Doge. I've got a nice bag of Toncoin, though. I've got a nice bag of Toncoin. Look how close that is. Look how close that is. They're going to go back and forth for a while until Toncoin really starts to take off. Toncoin needs to grow its network. That's what really needs to happen. Toncoin needs to grow its network, and then it'll outpace Doge. It'll outpace Doge significantly. Might even give XRP a run for its money. Right? I think Cardano, same thing. Absolutely same thing. Just pay attention. There's a lot of stuff going on that you should be paying attention to. Right? I mean, looking at Chainlink, I think it's a fire sale on Chainlink. Look at that, down 32%. 32%. I really do think it's a fire sale for Chainlink, because Chainlink, again, like I said, is a part of that connective tissue. So looking at that connective tissue, I'm like, definitely going to buy Chainlink. Definitely going to be adding to Chainlink. Same way I'm adding to Bitcoin, I'm going to be adding to Chainlink. That's part of my DCA strategy. Pick out your coins, do your deep dive research, and start doing that. Anyway, this is Eddie J on crypto for growmybag.tv. I hope you like what I'm doing. If you do, hit the like button. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you know when I'm dropping a new video, as well as don't forget to subscribe. More importantly, become a member. Did you know that once a month now, we're going to have a Big Bagger member meetup? It's for big baggers only, people that are serious about investing. Yes, we take deep dives into crypto, but we also talk about business. Stocks, bonds, options. We talk about investment. That's a really big meeting. It's going to be happening monthly to start off with. We just had our first one this past Sunday. It was great. It was absolutely outstanding. And I'm thanking everyone that was able to show up, even if all you did was listen. Thank you so much for your time. Anyway, this is Eddie J on crypto for growmybag.tv. I hope you have a good one. Bye-bye.